Thank you, Jesse.
Yes,
Good
sir.
morning.
Good morning.
So, yeah, basically, I was looking for some advice. I have a 13-year-old son, and for the last 3 years, he'd been living with me full-time. His mom had called me saying that, I know I've been keeping your son from you, but you've been paying child support this whole time, so if you got room for him, he's a real bad kid, and you should take him. And so I took him, and I fixed him up. I got him getting good grades in school, student of the month, no trouble. He was just totally 180 and everything. And we pray together, which is something he never do. We have structured discipline and trying to teach him how to be alpha male all the way. And so usually he would still spend the summer with his mom, and which is fine. That's what he does. And during the summer, I ended up getting married and making plans to move from Washington, where we were, to Oregon, which is only about 200 miles the other way. And so basically when it was time to get my son back from the summer, my son knew that we were moving here. He was excited. And then all of a sudden, his mom wanted to put the kibosh on that. And she said, no, I'll just keep him. And I don't know what the conversation is that they had, trying to say that he's with that. But I know that at her house, all they do is be dirty and eat chicken nuggets and play video games all day. So 13-year-old kid probably loves that. But everybody else, probably including his mom, knows that he's about to go back downhill real quick. And it's already happening when the school counselor's calling and telling me that they're thinking that he's suicidal and his grades are all the worst again. And beyond legal action, I'm just trying to figure out which direction I'm trying to point myself to do something.
So when you ask, he's 13 years old, when you ask him about coming back or staying with you, what did he say?
Well, that's the thing, is that I haven't really been able to talk to him.
Why not?
So where they live out in the country, they don't get phone service. And so the only time I talk to his mom is when she's on lunch break. And I can try to get a hold of the school, but she doesn't want to put me on the list. And it just is frustrating. When I did talk to him was right before he was supposed to come back, when it was coming out that the decision was going to change, that I just try to tell him, you might not be thinking about it right now, but the choices that you're going to make are going to affect you in the long run.
So when you asked him then, did he want to come back? What did he say?
Well, he's kind of a shy kid, and maybe all 13-year-olds are this way. He just one-word answers,
What did he say when you asked him if he wanted to come back?
He said, I want to stay with Mom, but because he likes the video games and everything.
So he wants to stay. He's 13, and he said he wanted to stay with her?
Yeah, well, he says he wants to stay with her, but what he really wants is to have no kind of rules or discipline.
But that might be true. I don't know if that's true or false, but did he say he wanted to stay with her?
Yes.
Oh, okay. And did you say you got married?
I did.
And why did you get married knowing you needed to be there for your son?
Well, she's been here for him a lot, too. I work a lot. And
was she already living with you or something?
Yeah, she was while we were engaged, yeah.
She been married before?
No.
But you were married before?
No, we weren't. I was 18 when I had my son.
Oh, I got you. So why did you marry a woman knowing that you need to be there for your son?
Well, I thought I was continuing to grow the support that he needed, knowing that his mom's not around. Not that he needed a replacement mom, but a home for him to grow up in, more structured.
But a stepmother or a stepfather is not a structured home. He had you. Why would he need more? He didn't need a mama anymore. He needed a father. Why would you think all that instead of just being available for your son?
Yeah, I guess trying to live my life too and trying to set an example for him, not to be, I guess the options that I was doing before I met my wife was being just totally alone forever or being a slut maker, and I was not either. I guess example I'm trying to show him. They got along great. They're like best friends.
And so why did the real reason you married this woman knowing that your son needed you is what?
Selfish.
Why is it hard to say that right away? Because you married this woman not because for her or your son. You did it for you.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see, it's interesting, and I understand it, Neil, that you see what his mother doing wrong, but you don't see what you're doing wrong. Your son don't have love coming from you or his mother or anyone at this point.
Mm-hmm. Seems fair enough. And, everybody around me is just saying, you got to do something, you got to do something. Well, now this is the situation that I'm in, be it my fault or otherwise. I don't know. I'm just concerned now, I guess. I was concerned with myself, and now I'm concerned that he's going to be in a bad way.
And so when everybody's telling you you got to do something, like what? What were they suggesting that you have to do?
I guess fight, go after it. Lawyers, obviously extremely expensive. Basically, the way that we had worked it out with his mom before was that she had said, he's nothing but trouble, take him, right? But then we already had for years and years and years a separate parenting plan that was already there. And so I just had her sign a little piece of paper that I wrote up saying that I'm not in violation of the parenting plan to have him when, according to the law, I'm not really supposed to. So it wasn't her out of her right to say, never mind.
So the people around you are suggesting that you fight for him now?
Well, yeah, yes. Like I said, he was all on board to move with us only 200 miles away. And I told his mom it's not going to affect him.
I'm trying to find out. The people around you are telling you that you need to fight for him now by getting a lawyer?
Well, I don't know how else to do it. I've been trying to call.
You didn't answer the question yet. Are people around you telling that you need to fight for him? Do they mean get a lawyer or what? How are they suggesting you fight for him?
Yes, through legal means. I called a bunch of different father advocate groups, and that's why I called Bond to see if they had any kind of even just resources that I could get plugged into. And then they recommended I give you a call because I'm praying and just frustrated.
Why are you involving all those people into your life and listening to what they suggest? They don't know what they're talking about. That's what they would do. That doesn't mean that's what you should or would do.
So I'm calling you, Jesse.
And so have you heard me say if you don't know what to do, do nothing?
Yes, and that's been my instinct.
And so if that's your instinct, why you listen to these people going nuts? They're making you look outside for the answer, and all you're going to do is dig a deeper hole for yourself.
That makes sense. The main course of my action is saying that, all right, eventually everybody's going to see where they're wrong, and thanks to you, even including myself, and it's all going to work back out in God's will.
I don't know what all that means, but you're not keeping an eye on yourself, and you're doing all these things without seeing what you're doing, and you're listening to these people. You went and married another woman that's not his mother. He's catching hell from his mother. And then when he go back to you, it's not going to be paradise. It's going to be hell. And if he's 13 years old, I don't know how you're going to fight for him.
Yeah, because he's got more of a say.
Did you tell him that you were getting married to somebody else?
Yeah, I essentially asked him for his blessing on it.
Amazing.
Well,
so he's able to give you his blessing to marry someone else and bring them between you and him, but he is not old enough to make a decision if he want to come back to you or not.
Well, I guess in my home, I build everything on a foundation of respect, and as him being the primary in my home, when I bought the engagement ring, I showed it to him, and I said, "This is what I'm thinking about. Let's talk about it."
And you married this woman because you didn't want to be alone all your life, you say?
I didn't want to live in sin. I, for a long time, was quite the slut maker, and I prayed and prayed and prayed to get that spirit out of me.
So you married this woman for sex?
No, definitely not.
You said you didn't want to live in sin.
Right.
What do you mean by live in sin?
Yeah, by sleeping around, I was bad about that for a while, and then
so you mean sleeping around with different women?
Right.
And so you married her for sex, one woman for sex.
I mean, it comes with it.
That's why you married her, and that.
Reason.
But you're saying that you were having sex with different women, so you don't want to live in sin. So you married this woman, so you can only have sex with one woman, right?
I guess so. Yes. You
don't see that?
Yeah.
Amazing, huh?
Yes. Yeah. Quite the perception, and that's why I'm so glad I've been listening for years. I've been trying to get through for years. It's just these little insights.
Are you doing the silent prayer video?
I pray silently, but not the video one.
And why not? And how do you pray silently? What do you mean?
Well, I don't do any hooping and hollering, but I just make sure I set aside time to be alone in the quiet and just be with God and be with myself.
Oh, okay. And so your question for me now is what?
I guess I think you probably already answered it as far as when you don't know what to do, don't do anything. And I just want to continue to trust God instead of worrying about what other people think about it.
That's a horrible way to live, man. To be worried about what others think, to be seeking advice from them instead of looking within so you can be guided by the Spirit of the Father. And that's what happens when you leave your cup empty, your glass empty, meaning that when you don't see the next step, what to do, you do nothing. Leave an empty glass. You don't have to come up with something. You don't have to make up something to do because it's coming out of darkness. And you make up something to do, and it'll be the wrong decision. Thinking that you made that decision, then you have to make another one, and you end up in a ditch somewhere. It's okay to leave your glass empty if you don't see what to do.
Sure. I just, I guess, I'm concerned primarily with the boy. If nothing happens, if I do nothing and he ends up suffering on his own without me.
Well, even if he lived with you now, he would be suffering on his own because your attention is to that woman you're married to, and her attention is to you. It's not about the boy. You're trying to keep from being lonely. As though this woman going to cause you not to be lonely. Wait until she's done with you. You haven't seen lonely yet.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot more layers to it than that, but definitely would say there's truth in what you're saying, too, as far as the whole equation.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
So what now?
I don't know. I just you're giving me a lot to think about, and you always do, whether I'm the caller or somebody else.
I don't know is a beautiful place to be. It really is. And the only way you should come out of that place is God revealed to you what to do. You see clearly what to do, not because someone else said it, but because you can see it. then what you do would work out perfectly for you. But if you fulfill, I don't know what to do, if you do it listening to other people or the imagination, it's going to be the wrong thing. You're going to have to come up with another what to do, I don't know, and what to do, I don't know. It's best to live in the present. Right now, I would be still and know the Father, let him guide me. And let the ego, the thoughts and pains that you're feeling, may or may not be feeling, I don't know, because you got the woman, you got your God there now, you might not feel anything. But I would let that die, meaning let God take that away from you.
Yeah, well, we definitely have a Christian relationship in our marriage as far as her being a support. What she might try to, give her ideas, but at the bottom line, at the end of the day, all around, she's supporting me and the goal for our family. And so she wants what's best for, obviously, herself, but all of us, including my son, who, like I said, she's been very close with over the time before my son left.
What a sad way to live, huh?
I don't know what's sad about it. I guess it's just
you're listening to the woman. Well,
I guess, yeah, there's her and other people just putting it in my ear.
Yeah, every time you listen to the woman, you should surely die. You will suffer.
I'll keep that in mind.
Again, Gregory, I would try to talk to my son, too, and see what he has to say. Ask him, not the mother. He's 13 years old now. I got to run, buddy. Call me again.
Appreciate it, Jesse.
All right, buddy. Amazing. And don't forget to like, follow, tweet, subscribe, and share the Jesse Lee Peterson radio show, folks. We really appreciate it. We are at war. It is a spiritual battle for the soul of America. And it's going to take all of us to do it.